the shadow frequency, where the veil between this world and the next grows thin, and the things that whisper in the dark are given voice. From the cryptic candlelit studios, deep in the Indiana forests, your host, Matt Wilson, and his spectral producer, Juniper Ravenwood, unearth the forbidden, the forgotten, and the fearsome. So, still your heart, dim the light, and listen closely. For once you tune into the shadow frequency, you may never tune out.
All right, what strange thing filed itself on top tonight? Let's see. Oh, that's not good.
Oh, what did you find?
A small leather notebook.
What's in it?
Every page has the same sentence written over and over.
And that sentence is?
It followed me home.
Yeah, that goes right back in the drawer.
Okay, what else? Oh, here's a coin.
Anything weird about it?
The year stamped on it. It hasn't happened yet.
Also going back in the cabinet.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Oh, here's a framed photo of the studio.
Let me guess, something's wrong with it.
Yeah, there's an extra shadow standing behind you.
Put that one back too.
Digging a little deeper. Something sticky. Oh, here we go.
What's tonight's file, June?
Episode 296, The Hinterkaifeck Farm Murders. Shadows of an Axe-Wielding Phantom.
A remote farm in Bavaria.
Footprints in the snow leading to the house, but none leaving.
And a killer who may have stayed inside the walls.
Tonight, we open one of the darkest unsolved mysteries in history. Episode
296, The Hinterkaifeck Farm Murders. Shadows of an Axe-Wielding Phantom.
You are tuned to the shadow frequency, where every whisper tells a story from beyond the veil. Hosted by Matt Wilson, produced by Juniper Ravenwood, with Chris Beach. The darkness continues.
In the frozen silence of the Bavarian woods, an isolated farm stood alone. Its windows dark, its fields whispering secrets no one dared answer. Footsteps echoed from an empty attic. Tracks appeared in the snow that never led back out. And then, on one ordinary March night in 1922, 6 souls vanished into the dark, slaughtered by something that didn't flee. It stayed. It fed the animals. It kept the fires burning. Tonight on the Shadow Frequency, we step behind the trees to Hinterkaifeck, where the phantom didn't just visit, it moved in.
Whoa, Juniper, you just gave me a full body chill before I even opened the mic.
Yep.
A killer that lingers like a ghost in the walls? I'm already hooked, and I haven't even cracked the file yet.
That's the beauty of this one, Matt. The facts are terrifying, but the shadows around them, they never quite leave. Your turn to take us in.
Thanks, Juniper, for digging into the file cabinet and pulling out one of the creepiest cases we've ever touched. All right, everyone, lean in close because today we're walking straight into the lonely and Bavarian countryside, about 70 kilometers north of Munich, to a place the locals still whisper about. Hinterkaifeck, behind Kaifeck. Built back in 1863, this farm sat far out from any neighbor, wrapped in thick woods, like a secret no one was supposed to find. Picture it, snow on the ground, wind moaning through the trees, and this single homestead where the Gruber family tried to live their lives. Andreas, 63, the hard-headed patriarch, his wife, Kazilia, 72, their widowed daughter, Victoria, 35, raising 2 little ones, 7-year-old Kazilia and 2-year-old Joseph. And right before everything went wrong, they hired a new maid, Maria Baumgartner, 44, who showed up for her very first day. But listeners, something dark had already settled over that farm weeks earlier. The old maid had fled months before, swearing the place was haunted. She kept hearing strange footsteps in the attic, slow, deliberate pacing right above their heads. She told anyone who'd listen that something up there was watching her every move. The Grubers laughed it off at first, until they started hearing it too. Then came the footprints. Andreas stepped outside one day and saw fresh tracks in the snow heading straight from the back edge of the forest right up to the barn. No tracks leading away, just in, like whatever made them had decided to stay. A broken lock on the tool shed, house keys that vanished without a trace. And the strangest thing of all, a Munich newspaper lying on the table that nobody in the family had bought or brought home. One night, the whole family heard those attic footsteps again, louder than ever. Andreas grabbed a lantern, climbed the ladder, and searched every corner. Nothing. No footprints in the dust. No sign anyone had been there. But the feeling? Oh, the feeling stayed, like the eyes on the back of your neck, like something breathing just out of sight. And then came March 31st, 1922, the night the shadows finally stepped out. 4 of the victims were lured, one by one, into the barn, probably because they heard a noise, or maybe because the killer knew their routine so well it felt safe. Andreas first, then his wife, then Victoria, then little Kazelia. Each one walked into that dark space and never walked out. The weapon? The family's own mattock, a heavy farm tool with a long handle and a brutal blade. Blow after blow to the head, the kind of violence that doesn't happen fast. After the barn went quiet, the killer moved inside the house. Little Joseph, just 2 years old, was killed right in his crib. Maria, on her very first night, was struck down in her bed. 6 lives ended in silence, with no screams that carried to any neighbor. But here's where the story stops being just a murder and starts feeling like something else, because the killer didn't run. Smoke rose from the chimney all weekend. The cows were milked. The dog was fed. Food disappeared from the pantry. Someone, something, walked those rooms, lived in that house, while 6 bodies lay hidden nearby. Imagine it, the fire crackling, footsteps on the wooden floors, a shadow moving behind the curtains while the dead waited in the dark. Was it a man? Or was it the thing that had been hiding in the attic all along, studying the family, learning their patterns, waiting for the perfect night to step into the light? Or rather, the dark? That's the part that keeps me up, listeners. Hinterkaifeck doesn't just feel unsolved, it feels haunted, like whatever did this never really left. The more I sit with this, the more it feels like the farm itself was alive with something ancient and patient. We'll dig even deeper after the break. What do you think was really waiting in that attic, Juniper?
I'm honestly afraid to guess out loud, but I can't wait to hear where your mind goes next.
Stick around, everyone. After the break, we're coming back with the killer who refused to leave and the theories that still make the woods feel a little too quiet.
Phew, if your skin is crawling right now, you're not alone. We've only scratched the surface of Hinterkaifeck, and already it feels like something is listening in. What do you think happened in that attic? Drop your theories wherever you listen. We read every single one, but first let's flip the switches on the spectrocosmic message materializer. Oh wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Over to you, Chris.
Thanks, Juniper. While we're in the break, let me mention a few ways you can help support the shadow frequency. First, like and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on, because that is one of the easiest and most important ways to help us with the algorithms. You can also follow us on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Rumble, and all major podcast directories. Then head over to shadowfrequencypodcast.com for all of our episodes, the companion blog, merch, show notes, and links to every platform we're on. You can contact us there too, by email or voice message, and even buy us a coffee to support the podcast. And with that, back to Juniper.
All right, now it's time to fire up the spectral cosmic message materializer, flipping the switches. Let's see what eerie transmissions drift through the static. Oh, here's a strange little note riding the airwaves.
Message retrieved from the void.
Let's pry it open and see what our listener had to say. This one says, "Hey guys, my name is Bobby from Terre Haute, Indiana. I found the shadow frequency on Pandora a couple months ago, and I've been hooked ever since. I've really been enjoying the episodes and just wanted to send a note to say keep up the good work. Love what you guys are doing. Thanks, Bobby from Terre Haute, Indiana." Well, thanks, Bobby. Glad you finally found this and are enjoying the episodes, and great to hear from another fellow Hoosier out there. All right. If you've got a story, a theory, or just want to say hi, shoot us an email at shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. All right, Matt, the second half is all yours. Let's see how deep this phantom goes.
You are tuned to the shadow frequency, where every whisper tells a story from beyond the veil. The darkness continues.
Thanks, Juniper, and hey, Bobby, glad you found us. Now back to Hinterkaifeck. We left off with the murders done and the house falling quiet, except it didn't stay quiet. For days, maybe 4 or 5, the killer, or whatever was wearing that killer's skin, kept the farm running. Neighbors saw smoke curling from the chimney. The livestock got fed and watered like clockwork. Bread was baked in the family oven. Someone even slept in those beds. Think about that. The bodies were right there, stacked in the barn under hay or still in the house, and this presence just lived, ate their food, tended their animals, walked past their corpses like they were furniture. It's the detail that turns a true crime story into something straight out of a nightmare. Was it a man who felt so comfortable he could play house with the dead? Or was it the thing that had been listening from the attic the whole time, finally free to roam? When the neighbors finally showed up on April 4th, Lorenz Schlittenbauer and a couple others worried because little Kazilia hadn't been at school and the mail was piling up. They found the horror waiting. 4 bodies in the barn, 2 in the house. The mattock, still bloody, tossed up in the loft like a casual afterthought. The crime scene was a mess from the jump. Neighbors trampled evidence, moved bodies, touched everything. Clues slipped away before police even arrived. That contamination haunts this case more than anything. Now the suspects. Oh, they're as shadowy as the killer itself. Lorenz Schlittenbauer, the neighbor who led the search party, he had history with Victoria, and some whispered he might have been Joseph's real father. Carl Gabriel, Victoria's husband, officially killed in the war, except a few people swore they saw him alive afterward. Drifters, angry locals, even wild theories about the family's own dark secrets. Remember that incest conviction between Andreas and Victoria? The farm was already poisoned long before the mattock swung. Here's the one moment I'll throw in a sliver of daylight. Rationally, it could have been a very patient, very bold human intruder, someone who knew the farm, hid in the attic, studied their routines, and then simply refused to run because he figured no one would check for days. Cold calculation, not a phantom. But even saying that out loud, it doesn't erase the feeling that something watched them longer than any man would dare. In the end, the farm was torn down. A memorial stands where the barn once was, but the shadow, it never left. Books, documentaries, late-night whispers, they all circle back to the same question: what kind of presence could live among the dead? feed the cows, and then vanish into legend without ever being named. Hinterkaifeck doesn't just ask who, it asks what, and maybe that's why the woods around it still feel a little too still. That's the kind of case that sticks with you like frost on a window pane. The phantom didn't just kill them, it moved in and never truly left.
Unequal parts fascinated and genuinely creeped out. That image of smoke still rising while the bodies lay inside. Yeah, I might not sleep tonight.
Same. Listeners, if this one's haunting you too, we want to hear it. For now, back over to you, Juniper.
And that wraps episode 296 of The Shadow Frequency, the Hinterkaifeck Farm Murders, Shadows of an Axe-Wielding Phantom. 6 lives taken, a killer who stayed, and a presence that still lingers in the Bavarian woods more than a century later. Thank you for joining us in the dark tonight. If this story gave you chills, send them our way at shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. And you can visit our website, shadowfrequencypodcast.com. We'll be back soon with another strange case you won't want to miss. Matt, you want to say goodnight?
Stay safe out there and maybe leave a light on. Good night, everyone.
Sweet dreams if you can. The Shadow Frequency is now off the air.
This episode was conjured with a solemn vow to explore the unexplained while remaining bound to the truths that have been unearthed. All interpretations are speculative and offered only for your enlightenment and your entertainment.